More! Lunch break! Hey, good job!
I did that well.
Hey everyone, we have a special guest today, Sierra. Oh my god, I've always been
Katow.
I think we've all been saying Katow.
Sure, and it is spelled that way, and a lot of people do say it that way,
sorry.
but I think it's Katow, like avocado.
Now I'm gonna get it.
Is that how you explain it to white people?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Because I have to do a lot of telling the host of a stand-up show when they're like, "What's your name and what are your credits?" And then you say, "Oh, my name is Sierra Katow, like avocado," and then they screw it all up. But
like I have
you try your best.
So our good friend Sierra Katow is here.
You are a stand-up comic.
I am.
You're a comedian.
Comedian. How do you say that one?
Comic.
Comic. You're a comic.
Stand-up comic.
And yeah, we met several years ago. You've been in some of our stuff, and most recently, you helped us write Dating After College.
Woo!
Along with
Thank
Taylor.
you for including me in that. It was so much fun, and you guys made it amazing.
Even more recently, like we shot this new show on our channel, which is out now.
Yep, you guys have already seen it. Hope you liked it.
Called The Report Card.
Woo! Yeah.
And Sierra was heavily involved in the producing of that.
And as well, one of the hosts with Gilbert. So yeah, you get used to this face.
It was cool that you kind of brought up the idea a while back, I think, right? And then
Right.
I always have been a fan of late night comedy shows, things like that.
Yeah.
Where did the idea come from, Phil? Like, this is something you've been thinking about for a while, actually.
Right. I feel like the first thing that kind of like pinged me was that we were doing an event at like a big tech company. I was up there talking about like, oh, like Asians, we got to support each other. We got to like band together and go watch, our movies and, support artists and stuff like that. And someone raised their hand and they're like, hey, I really want to like know what's going on in our community. I just don't know where to find this information. And that got me thinking of like, oh, I mean, there are tons of Asian American blogs and Twitter accounts and stuff, but it might be a little like too deep in the
Or too technical.
Or in the political activist sphere. And we all kind of have been watching more of this stuff. And then so I was like, oh, maybe this would be the actual perfect vehicle to talk about the Asian American news. You don't see Asian people on the news a lot. You don't see our community's achievements and failures on TV a lot. So I was like, okay, like if no one's gonna do it, then maybe we can. We were very certain that we wanted to be a comedy show instead of like straight up like news with opinions,
Yeah, it's also like great like entry into those topics too, and play into our channel's brand too, which is very comedy heavy. So that's nice.
Yeah, we had a live audience too.
Yeah.
A lot of them were our care holders. So if you guys are watching, thanks for coming out.
There's so much about this show that was a first, like not only, and I think that's what made it exciting because, we've been doing this for so long. It's exciting to find things, at Wong Fu that are still challenging us. So from the inception of it, that was already very different. We were shooting with a live audience. We had to get a writer's room for the first time. Like Sierra and I together, we found comedy writers and comedians and
Shout
submitted
out to
jokes.
them. Yeah, and they were all so helpful and just like, you just need like a volume of jokes so that you can kind of go through and be like, okay, this is actually funny, but just for the way that we're building out the show, like it doesn't actually fit right now. So just like a lot of
Yeah, it's almost like
power.
kind of how they do it in the traditional
Exactly,
world.
Yeah. They except they have like 30, I don't know.
Yeah, and a lot more time.
Yeah, this all happened within
A month?
3.5 week period.
Yeah, we moved pretty fast, and then we had hosts that had to perform it live also. Like it's not like a regular shoot for us where it's just like one line at a time or one scene at a time. Like we had to go through like this 15-page script just all the way through. We only cut like a couple times, and that was more for like technical stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk about even the themes and like the production behind it. It's called The Report Card to play off like the weekly report and stuff. And you guys brought it into like an academic setting and actually built a set that was a classroom.
Yeah, Benson built that set.
Wow.
Since we moved to this office, we've been doing a lot more of that.
The secret, I actually mentioned this to Wes, I am building a house, but these are all just temporary pieces that will assemble my house in the future. So,
Are you part of the tiny house movement?
yeah. So then it will be like a transformer. They will all connect at some point.
I'm just curious, if we were still at our old office, where would you have been doing this?
It's like in a parking space.
You built that so fast too.
Yeah, it was done so fast.
It was literally because like a lot of the direction kind of didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So it was like if I just start, Phil would just have to say yes. So that's pretty much how that worked.
That line was a quick take. Yeah, a lot of the direction and the things that Philip was supposed to do, hadn't happened yet. Cool, thanks. Yeah.
But so what I was getting to is
it
that
worked out.
it was a very, team environment. Everybody played a very crucial role, in bringing this together, and I think it turned out well.
Yeah. One of the hidden elements of the set was this photo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa.
that's Randall Park,
Yeah.
dressed up as George Washington.
We had a.
Oh, okay.
So that's a prop
who he was
from the
supposed to
set.
be.
It's obviously Photoshop. There's a lot of Photoshop in the episode because part of the humor of these new shows is the over-the-shoulder graphic.
Yeah.
I feel like that definitely is something in the last few years that has really evolved. Those shows. Like there's punchlines that are in the photos now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a crucial.
We had a whole team just dedicated to photoshopping the 2 days prior.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris.
Jen, Wes, Sierra. It was cool to see the audience react to those graphics. We had the graphics on like a TV while we were filming it so that the audience could actually see what we're gonna do in the final video.
What was your favorite thing to Photoshop?
I really only did, because a lot of the things that were just like side-by-side photos already
yeah.
on the internet, I really only did the like To All the Boys poster, which was just font change, and I didn't add anything on top of that.
Jen did the collage of all the hot Asian guys.
Excellent.
That was a tough day for work.
Let's talk about how you guys decided on what to cover. There was a lot that happened in the news in 2018.
The idea of the original show is to call it like weekly report, card. If we had like a huge budget and all the resources in the world, this could be like a weekly show and cover all the news. But since we don't know how the audience was going to react, we're like, okay, let's just shoot a pilot just to see. And since it's Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, why don't we just cover all the news that happened, the biggest news that happened since the last May.
Yeah, I think like it still favored stuff that's like more current now.
Yeah.
And then what was cool, like what you had kind of described it as, is it's either, Asian American or Asian headlines, or it's the Asian American perspective on something that's maybe a larger headline for all of America or something, which is cool because then that makes it still specific to this show. It's like, well, you can only come here for that perspective.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
yes, it's going to be something that you've heard about on NBC or something.
Yeah.
Right?
And a lot of the news too happened within the 2 weeks that we were writing. So
Yeah,
we just
we
kept
added
having to
more,
add more and more pages, and
Like
that
the
was
Constance Wu joke.
Yeah.
Going back to your thing about like how we have our perspective of things that are mainstream.
Yeah.
I think that's another really important aspect of the show in the sense like when I actually remember when I saw like Sandra Oh on SNL and like the bits that they were able to do because they finally had an Asian
Sure,
person.
yeah.
Like it just actually highlighted to me like how much content and humor is being lost just because they don't have an Asian person or Asian ingredient to their
Ingredient.
Yeah, it is. It really
Yeah.
is. It's like each production is like you're cooking and you want to have like different spices and flavors, right?
A whole shelf of spices. I think like the word diversity is super hot, but then there is like an actual creative element that comes from it that I think gets lost when it gets like all the corporate stuff where it's like, oh well, now you're a diversity hire, but it's like if you don't have a diverse room
missing
or
out.
whatever, then you can't really do a lot.
Yeah,
right?
you're very limited,
Yeah.
right? The whole like cheating scandal for like the universities, like there's so much there for like Asian people to like respond to, and like just because education is like such a big part of our upbringing, and it's like wow, but these jokes would never be on any of these shows because it would be
that's
offensive
why.
if they did. Right?
It would just be Ronnie Cheng. So,
Right.
So when we were writing this, did you have like any kind of vision or inspiration? Like who's some of like your favorite comics, or who like what was a show that you were like trying to like
Oh, I see.
embody?
I mean, I guess kind of like all the ones that are on for a reason. So like I like watching a lot of the John Oliver segments, stuff like that, because he kind of goes really deep into one topic and it feels newer and different.
Phil wrote in his voice in one or two
Sure,
jokes.
yeah.
Well, we
Good
couldn't
demo.
we couldn't do the John Oliver like angle too much. I remember like thinking about that because he goes like they do so much research
yeah.
and like we're
And
just
that's a once a week. They do have a more
team.
time even than the other late night shows because they do it once a week rather than
Right.
like every night.
That's the other thing too. Like they have access to like clips or like a database of just like every
Yeah.
Trump speech or every like
Sure.
CNN.
Yeah, I mean
MSNBC,
they have
whatever.
like researchers
Yeah.
that's their job, and then there's writers that take the research. So like when I had like submitted, you sometimes submit to write for a lot of these shows, and like they give you a packet of like, oh, here's all the research, so you don't have to go in and do the research. You can just write the jokes, and like we want to make sure you can tell a joke,
I keep saying Taylor, and Benson, these guys clearly want to go into stand-up. Clearly.
Gotta do it.
They're shaking their
You
heads.
just told us that it's oversaturated.
I think
There can never be too many Asian comedians.
I think you guys would be great. Taylor,
You gotta come
definitely.
out to,
And
you guys are
Benson
funny.
was like trying to sneak in jokes. Like he's like, hey, like while he's building and stuff, and he's like, hey, maybe you should do this joke. And we're like, thanks, Benson. Go back to hammering.
shit. What is it?
Stay in your lane.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. She didn't hear your joke.
Ooh.
Yeah. Do
premiering
your
it?
joke pitch
Oh
right
man,
now.
Wow.
this is
See,
gonna be like.
this is what I'm talking about when you have the small audience.
I don't know.
It's hard.
I don't know if my joke is relevant anymore.
No, it's super relevant. Do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So Constance Wu, she reacted to getting a 6-season renewal. How normal Asians react to getting a 6th year of Kumon.
That's good.
Hey, that was genuine.
Yeah.
See, you're ready. You're ready.
Okay, that was
that
my only one, and it didn't make the cut.
We'll bring it back.
Yeah.
Kumon is evergreen.
And I'm sure she'll do another thing that'll.
Sure, why not?
We'll wait for the next.
She still has Twitter activated, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
I think the next Wong Fu tour, we should make Taylor
no.
open up for the show. He should do a bit before the show.
That's good. That's a good, warm audience. Right?
Yeah. Wong Fu comedy tour. Kings of. Oh my God, it'd be perfect because Wong means king.
Wongs of comedy?
Yeah, the Wongs of comedy. It would be kings of comedy. Oh my God.
He loves
And
his
then you have to change your
wordplay.
names.
Yeah, everyone has to be Wong.
Well, thank you, Sierra, for coming in for lunch break. This has been super fun. So where can we find more information about you, your shows? Where can our fans follow you?
Yeah, I guess my Instagram, it's my name, Sierra Katow.
Not Katow.
Not Katow, even though it's spelled, in this case,
thought it was
it's Katow.
Oh my God.
Right, never heard that one before.
Wait, really? Yeah.
No, I have a podcast as
Yeah.
well. Oh,
Yeah,
which I want to have you guys on
one
at
of
some
us
point.
could be on it.
Yeah, I want you.
Taylor
I want
first.
everybody.
Taylor and Benson
Everybody will have their podcast. Yeah, it's called Stay Positive, and that stuff is all on.
That's almost as bad as tie-dyeing.
No, it's not. Nothing is as bad as tie-dyeing. I have a website where I put up all my show dates in a more linear fashion. For all you fun.
In a more linear fashion.
Yeah, for all you fun calendar kids out there.
You can catch Sierra on the report card if you haven't seen it already. Check out our new merch or old merch on wongfustore.com.
That's new.
A lot of people have been asking for us to restock this.
Lunch break comes out every Thursday, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.